Your fist is clenched before you even notice it. Your jaw's tight, someone just said something small, and your whole body reacted like it was a threat. But here's the strange part. Anger rarely comes from what just happened. It comes from something older. Psychologist Raymond Novaco spent decades studying anger, and he found it isn't one single feeling. It is a chain reaction. First, a trigger, then a thought, then the body catches fire. Change the thought, and the fire never starts. That is the whole secret, and almost nobody uses it. There is more than one kind of anger living inside you. The first is reactive anger. Fast, loud, automatic. Someone cuts you off in traffic. Your brain doesn't pause to think, it just fires. Researcher Leonard Berkowitz called this the cognitive neoassociation model. Pain, discomfort, even heat can prime your brain for aggression before you consciously decide anything. You're angry before you know why. The second kind is instrumental anger. This one is quiet and it is calculated. It shows up when you argue to win, not to resolve. You raise your voice on purpose. You know exactly what you're doing. It isn't a loss of control. It is control, aimed like a weapon. Then there is the anger that never explodes. It just sits. Psychologists call this rumination, replaying an old insult at 2 a.m, keeping the wound open long after the moment passed. Why does your brain do this? Because closure never came. The nervous system doesn't file away unfinished business. It keeps the file open, waiting. There is a fourth kind, and it might be the sneakiest. Displaced anger. You get chewed out at work, you say nothing. Then you get home and snap at someone who did nothing wrong. Psychoanalysts call this displacement, redirecting anger toward a safer target, because the real one felt too dangerous to confront. Your nervous system still needed to release the charge, it just picked the wrong outlet. Here is where it gets stranger. Anger, according to psychologist Richard Lazarus and his appraisal theory, is never really about the event itself. It's about the meaning you attach to it. Pain alone doesn't make you angry. Believing someone caused that pain on purpose does. Stub your toe on a chair and you might curse. Believe a person did it deliberately, and something else takes over completely. That is why the same event can produce two different reactions in two different people. One person shrugs off a delayed flight. Another person is shaking with rage at the counter. Same trigger, different appraisal, different fire. And your body is not a passive bystander in any of this. When anger ignites, your amygdala fires first, faster than conscious thought. Adrenaline floods your bloodstream. Your heart rate climbs. Blood moves toward your muscles, away from digestion, preparing you to fight something that, in most modern situations, isn't actually a physical threat at all. Neuroscientists call this the fight response, and it evolved for predators, not passive-aggressive co-workers. Here's something most people never get taught. Anger is not the same as aggression. Anger is a feeling. Aggression is a choice about what you do with that feeling. Psychologist James Gross, who built much of what we know about emotion regulation, found that people who pause before reacting, even for a few seconds, activate a completely different part of the brain. The prefrontal cortex steps in. The impulse slows down, not because the anger disappeared, but because a thinking brain briefly outran a reacting one. This is also why anger looks so different from person to person and from culture to culture. Some people were taught that anger is dangerous, so theirs turns inward, becoming guilt or silence. Others were taught that anger is strength, so theirs turns outward, becoming volume. Neither version is the raw emotion itself. Both are just what someone was taught to do with it. So what actually fuels anger underneath all of it? Threat to your sense of control. A goal that got blocked, a boundary that got crossed. Every single form of anger, reactive, instrumental, ruminating, or displaced, traces back to one of those three things. Which means anger was never really about the other person. It was your brain trying to protect something, a goal, a boundary, a sense of fairness. The next time your fist clenches before you even notice it, ask what you're actually protecting. That answer was there the entire time, waiting behind the fire.